Peace and blessings, YouTube. Peace and blessings. What's up? How y'all doing today, man? It's your boy Big C coming at you live from Oakland, California. Finishing up my shift. This is what I do. You don't want none of that, man. Nigga, you don't want none of that. A lot of dudes be on here talking. Dude hit me yesterday talking about meet up. Cause I said something about JT the bigger figure. Listen, nigga, you do not want to meet up with me. You know? I'm gonna tell you, that'll be the worst thing you did. You gonna have a headache for a long time fucking with me. So, you don't want to meet up with me. If you do, let me know. I'll make you a believer. Anyway, on this video, I want to talk about how I changed my life, man. You know, for when I left home when I was 14 years old. 14 years old, I rode my bike from San Pablo because my mom had moved out there with my stepfather, and I'm from Oakland. I was like, I ain't feeling this. So I ran away, man, and I got in a lot of trouble, man. I was out there in them streets. I was on 96, it's Olive, Sunnyside, East Oakland, and it was back then, man. It was rolling. It was crazy, and the trip thing about it is, about 80% of the dudes that was on 96 died, got killed, and it's only about 4-5 original G's from that block, and there used to be close to 50 people out there, man. You know, so that was a part of that genocide that I've been telling you about because of that crack cocaine and the culture that came out of it. But I got in that life, man. I first went to jail at 15. I served the decoy. I served him a $20 rock, the housing authority decoy on Sunnyside Apartments. My grandma lived in the back. I tried to go through the fence. They caught my ass. Took my ass to jail, man, to juvenile hall. Lil D was in juvenile hall at that time on 4th and Broadway. And he was running that joint as a juvenile. I'm talking about the guards. They was like Durrell. They was talking about Lil Durrell. I'm like, who run this joint? Y'all, Lil Durrell. And Lil D was running it, and he was a kid. So that's what kind of stuff we came up in, man. Even as kids, we was active, you know. Eventually, I went through a lot of stuff, man. We was getting high, grinding. I got hit in the face with a meat cleaver. I got hit in the eye with a meat cleaver right here. Got in the car with a dude to serve him at Booker's on 90th. Walked to Booker's to go get me some beer. Serving, I had my count. Serving a knock, get in the car with him. That motherfucker go, pow! Hit me in the face with a meat cleaver. I dropped all my rocks. I'm a youngster, I bounced out. He got up out of there on me, you know. I was like this. So then, I was grinding. I'm back at it, you know, and I got hit in the mouth. BGF, Fox, and all them, Fox and Denny Lark and my cousin Lafayette. He didn't know me at the time. They ride up on me, and OGs, big old buff guys. I'm 15 years old. I got on white Celtic starter, Saucony white shoes, white and green, and some white 501s. They took my jacket, took my shoes, knocked my tooth out, hit me in the mouth with a 45, pow! Knocked my tooth out, my shit was this long. Like, what the fuck is this? And you know, that was my indoctrination into it, man. I used to hang with the OGs. My partners was older than me. They had me doing all kind of shit because I was a big youngster. So we was getting in a lot of trouble, man. And eventually, I left 96. You know, I was down there with my best friend, Terry Austin. T had the green Mustang with on Zenith and Vols, and we was cleaning. T was the cleanest out back then. You know, if you look at Too Short video, I Ain't Tripping. The green, that Mustang, that's my partner T Mustang. That's what we used to be. We used to go through the high schools and that, and all the festival at the lake, side shows. Man, it's clean. Henry Scott had a Cadillac. Then he had that blue box shell. Fucked my hearing up. I was sitting in the back seat, man. That had so much knock in that sucker, messed my damn hearing up to this day. So, you know, Henry Scott was a soldier. You know, if anybody from the town, they know who Dirty Red was. Dirty Red used to go to St. Louis, too. So y'all might know him out there, too. So, yeah, then I moved from 96. I went back to my neighborhood because my grandma lived on 96 in Bancroft. That's why I was over there. And plus, I grew up over there, too, on 109th, and my mom lived on 99th in Bancroft. And so after that, after the 9-6 episode, there was a lot of money out there on 96, a lot of movement. Shout out to Brim and all the Stalker, all the 9-6 veterans, you know, D. White, Candy, Jelly Steaks. Candy Man, that's my little nigga too, from some seminary. Jelly Steaks, Fat Ran, all the old school 9-6 soldiers, Conehead. Man, there was a bunch of Fish, Damon Servine, Kevin Servine. R.I.P. to all my folks, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to 9-6, man. That's where I got my game from. 23rd, that's where I'm from. The Doves, Murder Doves. Mickey Mo was the kingpin then. As a kid, I watched them grown men suited up. They had the studio next to Tony's on 23rd. Suited up, suited and booted, millionaire. Them old school Rolls Royces with that candy paint on them, you know. Mick Mo there, man. First place, that's the first place I saw the game, you know. 23rd, that's where I grew up at. So when I went back, my grandma was living on 25th and Foothill. In between 25th and Foothill and East 15th. So, East 16th. So we turned grandma's house into the spot. But before that though, my uncle lived on Holiday on Church Street. That's around the corner from the Eastmont Mall. And that's where we first started a rock spot. We first started grinding. We bought an 8-ball, and we first started grinding. Me and my uncle on Holiday turned Unc's garage into the crack house at night. So Unc didn't know what we was doing, but we had a little hole in the door. We had one dude outside, one person outside watching, shotgun. And that's where we first started selling rocks. And we was selling out of Unc downstairs garage. Unc didn't know he was upstairs. My uncle is an old fool. He's a character. So Unc didn't give a fuck really, you know, as long as we looked out for him. And we started grinding out of there. It was very dangerous because we was in the village territory, and they would kill you. They would come shoot your spot up. You know, we was out of pocket, but we was young, you know. I fucked with my boy Tony Grant from High Street, and Steve, my cousin Ann, shout out to Andy, and my Uncle Dre, and we was getting busy, man. You know, we had a little crew, Uncle Jack the Mac, we was getting busy, you know. Eventually, we was doing too much between Church Street and grandma's house on 96 at that time. We were storing the shit on 96, and we come down to Holiday. We set up shop at night. My cousin Andy's room, that actually was his room, and we just come get together, turn that shit out. That's when we first start seeing the Knox coming with everything. One time we didn't buy nothing but merchandise, leather jackets, furniture, clothes, guns. And when it was time to cop, we didn't have no more motherfucking money. So we had to sell some of that stuff and so we could go cop again. And we got back busy. Then one day, the task hit that motherfucker. Task force hit it. Ooh. Tore our ass up. Had my Uncle Jack tied up, handcuffed to the motorcycle that my cousin that just bought a motorcycle from a knock. Back then, the Knocks would sell you everything. You get everything. They would come through with a whole bathroom in the truck. So you want to get it? We got a bathroom, bathtub, sink, everything. So we got hit by Taz. They tore our ass up. I'm talking about back then. Taz come through about 10, 15 cars deep with them yellow letters on their jacket, Oakland Task Force, Levi's, and tennis shoes, and burner gloves. So they coming to whoop your ass. We got our ass whooped that night. They was stomping my boy Daryl Poole. Shout out to my cousin Daryl Poole. My cousin Daryl Poole just got out from doing 28 years in prison. He home now, doing great, a great case manager out there in Sac. So they stomping up Uncle Jack and Daryl. And I'm out there laid down. They got me, the foot on my neck, then slapped the hell out of me. And they caught Unc. I guess Unc pulled up with the sack and served somebody outside, and that's how they hit. Unc had a jerry curled in. My Uncle Dre. Man, they was slapping the shit out of Unc. Where the rest of the dope? Jerry curl juice flying everywhere. They was slapping the jerry curl juice out of there. So after that, we went to 25th, and that's where we set up shop. That was 1986. 1986, we set up shop. We started off with an 8-ball because grandma lights had been cut out, and we had to get them lights back on, you know. So before we first started grinding, we had the same problem because grandma had a lot of people to take care of. All her, her older kids was on drugs, and us the grandkids, she had all her grandkids. And I had came from my mama's house and moved out there, so my granddaddy was gambling and shit, fucking off money, so the lights got cut off. And I showed my uncle how an 8-ball looked in wax, and that's how we started grinding. So when we went back to the Dubs, it was rolling. That was like the prime time. It was rolling all over the place, But the Dubs was particularly rolling really good because we was right next to Alameda, and the BART, was on Fruitvale. So we got a lot of Asian, a lot of white clients, and them Asians that just came over from Cambodia and Vietnam, and the Vietnamese and the Laos and the Mexicans, and everybody was on dope, so the Asians just come spend 100. 100. They couldn't speak English. They come 100. How much, buddy? That's what we call them. Hey, buddy, how much? How much, buddy? 100. 100. 100 knock on me. Oh, we used to love them 100 knocks, man. First, we used to take turns on 100 knock. Anytime a 100 knock come, if it was your turn, because we used to take knock, that's what we used to call them, we'd take turns. If it was your turn, for a regular knock, like a 10, a 20, because we didn't sell no 10s back then. We sold Hubbards, we sold Dubs, 20 and up. If you came with 15 and 19, you was getting your ass beat, you know? So we saw, when if it wasn't on, it would say 5 people. We taking turns, 20s. Let me get a 20, here. 100 knock, it's on me. No, 100 knock on me. So whoever the 100 knock was, got the 100 knock. And man, it'd be rolling, man, from sun up to sunset, man. When it was nonstop, Bart, rolling, and we stacking like this. So you got Unc in there. We'd take sips. We had Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers. We was playing Nintendo Super Mario Brothers, taking shifts. And in Unc room, and we had the downstairs, the grandma house. We had the whole downstairs. So that was just like our spot, man. We had put up some walls down there and made different rooms and stuff. And my auntie Lily, she stayed in the big room. Her and Curtis, the boy, my uncle that she met from off the Carl Vinson, off the ship, you know, she was a fast lady. Anyway, yeah, it was rolling, so we was taking shifts, man. And so we got 25th to rolling. Then we went back to San Pablo in Richmond, because my brother was out there still. He was younger than me, and he had just gotten the game out there, and he was rolling. You know, I was 17, I was about 15. But he was the man, you know? So he had a 30-year-old and a 28-year-old girlfriend that worked at Wells Fargo. And bro was getting his money. So we went out there to back him up, you know? And took over the spot out there. And boy, we had so many guns. We had a brand new car, a brand new 87 Cougar back then. And we was listening to Ice-T and all the Kool Moe Dee, Eric B. and Rakim, EPMD, all that shit, when that shit came out. And, you know, Richmond was rolling too. Met my boy GD Bomb out there, brought GD Bomb back to the town with us. Pimpin' Pierre and Delano, shout out to the Richmond cats out there in Hilltop, Pierre and Delano. Shout out to my boy, the twins, JR, Dolomite and them, Red. It's Parchester Village, North Richmond. They was getting money. Kimmy James, Fat Cecil, Jaron Jackson, Algernon, all them old school players out there, man. So eventually we left Richmond alone, and we came and we just exclusively was on 25th. I guess they shut the San Pablo apartments down. By that time, my cousin James Henry Brown, Jimmy Brown, rest in peace, had came from San Diego, where Jimmy was a little smooth dude, had a candy cherry Suzuki Jeep back then. Jim was like, he was the littlest out of all of us, but he was the biggest. We looked up to Jim. Jim was a smooth motherfucker. We buying like 4 zips, a 9-pack all together, you know. And Jim, he getting birds from his uncle. So it's on. One time we strapped him up. We taped the bird to him, fattened it real tough. Jim had a Bill Blass suit, Yves Saint Laurent diamonds. That's how we used to get down back then. And Jim flew that brick to Hawaii for our other Unc. And it was on after that, man. Fresh Fest came. We in limousines. I remember the outfit I had. I had on some brown corduroys with the brown silk shirt, brown Capizio pants, the polo glasses. We wasn't playing, man. Youngsters, man. Then we had a suite at the Hilton. This was 1987. Said suite at the Hilton for Jim's birthday. We had the cake. We took all our jewelry off, put it around the cake. And all the money, had stacks of money, stacks like this, money. I had the picture. We used to have that picture in jail, but so I think I left it. I left it with my partner Fred in jail back when they in Santa Rita, and you know, once them pictures in jail, they gone. You leave them pictures, they gone. Anyway, yeah, we was getting money, man. And the spot became so rolling. That was the people used to call it the original $1 million spot. Cause we started in the at grandma's house. Then we took over the apartments. We were so terrible that we were so fucking terrible that the owner of the apartments, we tore his apartments up. We painted all of them because he used to call the police on us. So we painted hellish snitch on the apartments, tore his property up. He sold that shit. And nobody took over that property for like 5 years. You know, probably longer than that. Because I kicked in a couple doors and I had 2 apartments in that motherfucker. The electricity and everything was still on. For 5 years, that shit stayed on. And people lived in there. I guess they was paying rent to somebody, but we wasn't. You know, they wasn't tripping. They wasn't coming fucking with us, you know. They was scared to come over there. We used to shoot out the fucking lights on the corner, the street lights, we used to shoot them out. Both ends, so it'd be dark than a motherfucker. Shoot the lights out, put watchers on each corner and on the roof. Gunmen on the roof of the apartments. So we wasn't playing, man. We was young niggas doing that. You come down that street back then, you gonna get your ass beat. If you come asking me back then, do you know God or brothers, why you can't get no job? I'm instantly gonna knock you out. You know what I'm saying? It was funny to me. It was fun. I found out I could knock motherfuckers out with one punch. So I was knocking everybody out. These motherfuckers are battle tested, you know? So, yeah, I was very, very violent, very evil. You know, I did a lot of mean shit to people, man. I used to buy them. We used to, you know, they used to come through selling guns, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it. And I said, let me see it. And once I got it in my hand, I'm taking it. And I'll give you what I want. I'll give you a dub. Here, take this. Oh, man, I want 100. I want 300 for that, man. You better take this 2 dubs, 2 20s. Get the fuck out of here before I pop your ass. That's how I used to be. I was wrong. You know, I was bad, man. We got a lot of shootouts, people coming through trying to rob. When we first started, BGF tried to shut us down. They didn't. The OGs was trying to harm us. Got them up out of there. So it became legendary, man. If you're from the town, 25th Foothill, 2427, the Dubs. We at first we were the rolling 20s. That's what they called it, because it was rolling. It was a circle. 2-4, 2-5, upper 2-5, 2-3. That circle, 2-7. That circle rolled like a motherfucker. Shout out to all the folks that was involved, you know. A lot of people made it, a lot of people didn't. So that was the history of them 20s, man. From the rolling 20s, we went to it turned into the murder Dubs. My brothers on East 24, you know, they was forefront in making it to murder Dubs. Michael Tanner and them, rest in peace Mike, rest in peace Jack Perkins, rest in peace to my boy, to a whole bunch of people, man. D-Dub, my little Damon, my little cousin, my cousin Jamani, rest in peace. My cousin Sterling, rest in peace. Shit, man, so many people, man. P House, rest in peace. Tall Ant, rest in peace. Man, it's just so many to name, man. Lil Clarence, you know, just a whole bunch of people. Shane, rest in peace, Shane from 27, you know. A lot of people lost their life in that life, man. And the thing about it, the police, we used to funk with the police, man. One time in the apartments, they dude that choked my cousin's money, man, the manager, because his wife was smoking crack, had sold us his TV, and she was tossing up. He was mad, and this nigga was super buff. One of them college sorority guys from the South, super buff. He had the horseshoe tattooed on his arm. And I was a youngster back at that time, so I came in the gate, asked the nigga, I'm like, man, I knocked on his door like, man, why you put your hands on my cousin? He fired on me immediately and dragged me into his motherfucking house. This nigga had weights everywhere. I picked up one of them weights and socked and hit his ass. Bing! Hit his ass with the weight and got out the house. It was like, come outside. I had just gotten a surgery because I hit a nigga in the mouth and my fist got infected. So I was in the hospital for 7 days because my hand was infected. It was a tooth. I hit this right here. That was a tooth in that motherfucker, and I didn't take care of it. So at that time, I couldn't catch him. This the power right here. I couldn't catch the nigga good. Me and him fighting, the big buff ass nigga, we fighting, but I can't catch him good, but he can't catch me neither. So I start hitting him with this left. And once I start hitting him with this left, the nigga start trying to, the big nigga start trying to slam me and shit. And then he had 3 off-duty police officers with him that night. So they all was trying to jump me. So my boy whip out on him like, y'all ain't gonna jump him, it's a one-on-one fight. And they back up, right? So I whip his ass, you know what I'm saying? Then we get out, you know, we get outside the gate, because it was a big-ass gate. You know, we have been grinding that motherfucker. That's why they were really mad. We took over these are big-ass apartments. It's like New Jack City. We took over those apartments, and they was trying to get us up out of there. So, you know, at that point, we had to get up out of there because they was involving the police. The police was taking it personal. They was coming on their day off and shit, walking down the street, they pistols, and, you know, you could tell this nigga got a pistol. I'm standing on the corner. I see the officer coming, and he's in regular clothes. So I run, go get my pistol, put it in my back pocket. And I'm standing on the corner of 25th, like, yeah, nigga, let's do it. And back then, it was different, man. You know, the nigga knew he wasn't supposed to be doing what he was doing, so we didn't, you know, he got up out of there. They was intimidated by us too, you know, because on the real, somebody was shooting at that. I don't know who, but somebody was, man. And it was violent down there, especially you come down there on them late nights and we done shot the lights out and shit. You don't want to come down that street, you know. A lot of people sometimes just be standing on the outside like, man, I ain't going down there. Could you go, you know, could somebody go get 40 for me or something? And they were scared to walk down that street. So everybody, we was terrible, man. So that, we got up out of there, and you know, I switched the spots occasionally. We'd have to switch from on this side to this house to this house. I always had to switch up the spots, you know. So you know, that shit went on for years. I ended up going to prison, going to county jail a lot, probation, violations. My brother went to jail for double murder in 92 with the trial. He got acquitted. They went to jury trial. Jury acquitted my brother. They convicted my folks' Lips got 60, and Leroy got 200 years. That's when they first started giving out a lot of time. He got 200. My little nigga Leroy from 63rd, long ass hair, a soldier. So yeah, all that stuff was going on, man. Going back and forth to prison. Then we put out an album, in 96, Next to Kin. We put that album out, and it was cool. We was in the Source magazine. We got about 3.5 mics, and we had some momentum building, but we both went to prison, you know? So we couldn't promote the album. It was a cult classic in the hood, you know? And, you know, I used to give performances while I was grinding. My young partners just come watch me. I rap for hours off Get Stupid Fresh beat, Mantronics. I just put dun, 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 and I'll be flowing off that motherfucker. That one and just a couple other instrumentals. But yeah, I used to be rapping like a motherfucker, man. And that's what I was known for back then. So yeah, we got the money, man. We did it, you know. Eventually our little cousins grew up. They came into our shoes. They got the money. They did it, you know. I remember looking up and down the streets all the time. I knew every car that was on the block. I knew the headlights. We watched those headlights hit the corner because the police, they won't come stop at the thing and then turn. They trying to get a nigga. So they zoom, swoop that. So you got to watch that motherfucking corner, man. You know, sometimes we wouldn't have nobody on the corner, you know, so you had to watch the corners. And my nerves used to be so fucking bad from all that shit and going to jail. I still got permanent handcuff marks. These is handcuff marks. This is from the 80s. You see this? Those permanent handcuff marks, man. I always went to jail, you know? So I got tired of that shit, man. You know, I got tired of that shit. I grew up. I was able to grow older, and like Muhammad Ali said, a man who thinks the same as he does at 15, a man who's 30 and thinks the same as he does at 15 has wasted 15 years. So I was always a reader. I used to read the paper every morning. I used to read books, you know what I'm saying? And once I went to jail, my cousin Donald Ray Duck, he sent me Visions for Black Men by Naeem Akbar. That was the first self-help book, discipline book I read. And that opened my fucking eyes. I was tired of going to jail, man. Everybody was, you know, I remember the feds hit 2-6. They hit a rock spot. This is the first time the feds hit a rock spot. I'm standing on the corner of 25th because I always be on that corner. Give me a newspaper and an orange juice in the morning, and I'm ready to go. And rental cars start hitting the corner. They coming up from East 16th. They hitting that corner from East 16th, coming up 25th, turning on Foothill, going up